Oh, all right. Hey, Genevieve, how are things going? You're very cozy today. Looking cozy. Okay. Um, Karen, how are you? You're good? Very nice. Okay, we are it's getting cozier in our group. We started with how many people and it's kind of starting to shrink because it's a marathon, it's hard to run a marathon. So some people like, well, Christmas, I give up. And on the final lesson, like I have no one coming to my class. I know. Many chords, many we're doing a hard work here, even though it's Christmas, it's supposed to be fun. Mary Eve, I love your Christmas tree. I love I wish to have one here too, but honestly, like I'm moving from one place to another, and me having a whole decoration here, I think that will wait. So I just put this little Santa Claus here. Hello everyone, how are you doing? And yeah, just a little bit, not much, not too fancy this time. All right, guys, let's hit it. Let's do it. Let's do it. As the old tradition goes, let Boris try and play his own arrangement. You know, let's see. This one is 3 pages. Um, Finally, I learned how to put 2 pages in front, like next to each other, on as a PDF. So it should go a bit smoother this time. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. Okay. It's a 3 pages arrangement, and it's not the hardest one. It's not the hardest one. It's a ballad. So let's make it very sensitive. Here we go. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? All good? No problems? All right. 3, 4. And I need to scroll. Sorry, guys. And here we are. Oh, sorry. And the last one. Okay. Yay, I managed somehow. Okay. So this is the arrangement. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. I literally played it a few times. This is my probably third or fourth time me running through my own arrangement, so sorry if it wasn't smooth. And probably you've noticed that I added some things. So I made it a little bit like, just improvised, going, changing notes and all that. If you want to have the exact thing, check the YouTube video. That's where I'm playing it like, teaching you guys note by note. but right now I just decided to go with the flow and add a couple of things. Okay, let's begin. Let's begin. Wendy is joining us. That's awesome. And let's do some work. There are 3 pages here, so I would like to speed it up a little bit today and not dive into literally every note and note and note, so the tempo is going to be a little bit faster. Okay, first chord, first bar. Let's look into the left hand. Let's give a little bit of attention to the left hand. So the first chord is a G chord. The way I'm playing it is this: 4, 2, 3. All right, but you can have an easier version of this one by simply taking off the ring finger. Okay, as if you're playing a G chord. Just take the G chord. Okay, and release your middle finger. It's kind of a half a G chord, you see? So just take out the 4th string finger, okay? So it's an easier way of playing the same shape, not the same shape, the same chord. 0, 2, 3. If you want to make it a bit more fancy, but it's a little bit harder, 4, 2, 3. Okay, that's the one. So you can actually start the song by... It's kind of a G chord, you see. You can, if you play the easier version, then you simply play a G chord there. And then we go to the EM7. That's the way I'm playing it, guys. So 0 on the 4th string, ring finger on the 3rd string 4th fret, the middle finger goes on the 2nd string 3rd fret, and pinky goes to the 1st string 1st string 5th fret. So that's our EM. So let's work on the transition. Let's work on that first bar together, G to the EM7. And you know what? Let's add the melody. Let's play it the way it is. So I want to go a little bit faster today. So we have the first chord, G. If you're playing it with the ring finger, then you have to add a bar chord to get that 2. Okay? So strumming the chord, making a bar chord to get the 2, and adjusting the fingers just a little bit and going towards the EM7, okay, and leave out the 10 for now. We deal with that later. So let's work on that transition. If you decide to play the other G, so the simpler G, just take that G chord. Actually, it's very easy. Plug the 2 and then go to the next chord, the EM7. Okay, both ways are fine. All right, here we go. The first bar, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and that's it. Once again, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and again. Hold on, where's the score? Last time, let's do it one more time. 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the less movement you have, the better. Okay, that's why I actually decided to play this G. Hey, Julian, nice to see you. Hey there, I received your message, by the way. I'll reply to you very soon. All right, so this is our G. I've chosen this one because the transition to your EM7 is very smooth. It's just around the corner, you see? This is the transition between my G and the EM7. There's a lot of logic there. Just the less movement, the better. That's the law of nature here. All right, let's move on. And you guys stop me if you think I'm going too fast or too slow. I kind of need you for that. So let's go to the second bar. We will deal with the 10th fret in about a minute, but let's leave it out for now. The EM11. So it's just an EM chord, but this time I want you to press the 4th string 2nd fret with your index finger. So it's the same AM as we already know, and add the pinky to the 5th fret. So it's a little bit of a stretched position. Okay, so this is our AM chord. We need that 5th fret because it's in the melody. Can't help that. So here we go. This is the AM11, and then you start walking because there is a melody, the 8 notes, right? So 5, 3. What I do for the 3, as an option, actually, you can do the same. Just slide the pinky to the 3rd fret. You can also decide to do it with your ring finger. So rather than sliding the pinky, you can also play it with the ring finger. You can totally do that, no problem at all. Just again, try to be as close as possible to the position. Don't let the fingers go away too much. So my favorite way is with the pinky, sliding the pinky and then bringing that ring finger, which is in between all the fingers. It's getting quite claustrophobic here. So pinky, and then the ring finger goes to the 2nd fret. The index finger keeps on pressing. We want that sustain, all right? So the whole line of the AM11 goes like this: 5, 3, 2, 0. Okay, 5, 3, 2, 0. And we go back to the G chord. So we have 2 versions of that G chord. The easy version, which is just the normal G, but without the 1st string, because the melody is on the 2nd string, right? So, but the position is exactly the same. Or the more advanced version of that chord, which actually, you know what, let me ask you a question. Why did I choose this shape? Why didn't I just go for this one? Can be a bit of a tricky question, but for the ones who are following my theory lessons, maybe you can answer that question. What do you think? Anyone? There are 2 versions. There's this one, which is 0, 2, 3, or the more advanced one, which is a bit harder on the fingers, 4, 2, 3. Why is that? I want you guys to think about it. No idea? I don't do things, I try not to do things just because I want to make things more complicated. There's usually a reason behind this. No? Okay, let me help you.
You mean except of the fingering, that it's more easy to change then? You mean because of the melody, because it's an inversion?
It is an inversion,
And
but when we're talking about a triad right now, a complete chord has 3 notes in it. So the chord G, and I'm not going to go too much into detail here. You don't even need to know that. But the chord G has 3 notes. In order to call it a full G chord, it needs to have 3 notes: G, B, and D. These are the 3 ingredients that make it a complete, legit G chord. So when we're playing this full shape, we have those 3 notes inside. But because the melody is on the 2nd string and there's nothing on the 1st, and we need that 1st note to make it a complete G, but we're leaving that one out. So that what I decided to do is to take this note and put it on the 4th fret, 4th string, in order to still have the complete G. You see the logic? So that's the reasoning behind it. Okay. Okay, so that's the G chord. You guys can, like I said, you choose your preferred position. And we go to the D7. The way I play the D7, I think we had it yesterday or the day before that. Anyway, we're playing a lot of those D7s, I think. So the middle finger on the 2nd fret, 4th string, 0 on the 3rd, and the ring finger, press your 2nd string, 2nd fret with that one. And obviously you have a 0 on the 1st string, that's your melody. Let's try to play the 2nd bar together. Ready? Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's the rhythm. So I'm already playing it with the correct rhythm. The last 2 chords, the G and the D7, are quarter notes, so they are longer. Okay, when it comes to the right hand, maybe just for now, you can play everything with the thumb, no problem at all. If you feel right. So you can do it with the thumb. I don't know, I still like, I'm getting surprised every time I see it on my screen. So you can do it with the thumb, no problem. Or you can also decide to play it with the 4 fingers, 4 strings technique. It's up to you, no problem at all. All right, let's play the 2nd bar together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and G and D7. okay? Please mind the melody. Always look at where your thumb needs to land. So on your G chord, it lands on the first string. That's your stopping point. You shouldn't play through that string because the melody is on the second string. I'm repeating myself, but I think it's still worth it. So let's put the first bar and the second bar together. So that's the way to, construct the whole thing. First bar to the second bar, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, sorry, I forgot that 10th fret. Just a quick thing about the 10th fret. It throws you away from the position. There's not much we can do about it. It's like suddenly you're somewhere else at the neck. But the only thing I can tell you, it's something that I said before, keep the fingers as close as possible to the strings. Don't do this. Don't take them away. Don't lose time, because time is very precious at this moment, even though it's a ballad, but you're going suddenly somewhere else to that 10th fret and it's very far. Okay, so the way I'm playing it is, see? So a good exercise, here's a good exercise for you guys, and maybe we can do it together for a few seconds. 5th fret with your pinky, because that's in our A-M chord, right? It's in it, but don't mind the whole position. Just put your pinky on the 5th fret. And then slide it to the 10th fret and bring it back. And try to do it a few times. Let's do it in rhythm so you guys can aim better. It's all about aiming. Ready? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Try to do it without looking. Let's see if we can succeed. Oh, I'm getting there. It's a bit tricky without looking, I know. That's the hardest thing. When you need to shift positions, you kind of need to look, but can be a nice exercise because you can actually train that. Even moving from right to left or left to right, you can work on your muscle memory and the feeling, and you won't need to look much. You can just like have a brief, check on where your fingers are at, but for the rest, it should all work fine. Good job, everyone. Now let's put these 2 bars together. Ready? I think we are ready. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4. Once again, the same thing, guys. 1 and 2 and little bar chord, EM7. Same bars. G to the D7. Okay, let me check on you, because this is an important section and it repeats itself quite a lot of times during the song. So it's worth to spend enough time and to understand what we're doing. Any questions, guys? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Let me know. Maybe I'm not clear with the explanation. All good? Woo! All righty. Next bar. Let's do the next bar. And the next bar is the same as the first bar, so that's easy. You can do exactly the same thing there. And the bar after that, so the next line, I'm at bar number 4, AM11, we know how that goes. And after the AM11, we have the D chord. So here's our D chord, guys. It's a bar chord. Okay, that's a bar chord. Index finger pressing the 2nd fret entirely, and we add the pinky on the 5th fret, 1st string. Okay, so the transition should be very simple from the AM11 to the D chord, because you literally having, that's the reasoning behind those positions. You see, that's why I carefully chose those 2 shapes, because this is your AM7 and this is your D. It looks the same. The only thing you got to do is bring the finger down. Okay, I think that this one is not really an issue. Let's move on. The next bar is fine. I think it's fine because it looks very familiar to you guys. It's the 5th bar and it looks very similar to the 1st bar and the 3rd bar. There's just a tiny 2 there at the very end. Let's look at bar number 6. okay, this is not too difficult. Let's play this one together. But one thing I want you to do is keep the middle finger pressed throughout the whole bar, okay? Because this one is giving you some sustain. I'm at bar number 6, AM 11, D7, okay? I'm using my pinky for the 3rd fret, not the ring finger. This feels a little bit too tight, you know, it feels like as if my fingers are, you know, I start feeling the muscles here, it's not nice. So the pinky works better for me. And when I go to the melody, to the 2nd fret, I'm using my ring finger, you see? So the movement on the 1st string is pinky, ring finger, open, there's a 0 there. And after that, I play again with my pinky. So that's the 2nd string, the 3 on the 2nd string. And then I resolve it to the D7, you see? So that's the entire movement. 3, keeping the middle finger pressed. And then the line, that's your melody actually. So most of the melody is played with your pinky and ring finger, like the weakest fingers that we have. So 3, 2, 0, opening that finger for the 0, 3 on the 2nd string, 2 on the 2nd string for the D7, and you can plug the 0 at the end, which is very simple. Let's play that bar together, the 6th bar, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and one more time, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 0 on the 1st string. Are we good? We're good? Thumbs up? Good. Good job, everyone. Good job. Good job. Let's move on. We're nearly at, well, we are like nearly 50% of the song is done. Next line, bar number 7. So we have a B chord with a bar chord, okay? Actually, it's a B7, so it's not correct. It should have been B, but with some spices, B7. Okay, this is my B7, a full bar chord on the 2nd fret, and add your middle finger to it. So the middle finger goes on the 3rd fret, 3rd string. Keep the rest of the fingers, you see these two? Don't make any weird shapes with the remaining fingers. Keep them relaxed and close to your index finger. They're part of the pack, you know, don't let them go elsewhere. Okay, so that's our B7 or B, that's how I wrote it in the score. Then we go to the E7. I think you know the E7 shape. This is the way I'm playing it. Okay, E7, index finger on the 4th string, 1st fret, middle on the 2nd string, 3rd string, 2nd fret, 0 on the 2nd string, and the ring finger goes on the 2nd fret, 1st string. Okay, maybe we can quickly pass through this bar together. Bar number 7, B to the E7, B to the E7. Here's a good thing for you guys to pay attention to. Look at my elbow, look at the entire position, because every shape changes not only your fingers, not only the sensation in your fingers, but it changes the whole thing. Literally almost your entire arm shifts a little bit to help making the shape. So this is my B, you see this is my E7, B, E7, as if like I'm going a little bit away with my elbow. You see, it's a very subtle thing, but the whole body is responding to those shapes. Don't be stiff. Stiffness is the last thing we want, because when you're stiff, you won't be able to move between the shapes, you know, fast enough. All right, next we are, where are we? We're now bar number 8. Oh, I love this chord. It's such a nice chord, such a jazzy chord. A7, 9, A7, 9. So if you guys know the A7 or the A chord, this is the A chord. Okay, you guys know the A chord. Here is the A7. When we release the middle finger, we get an A7, which is already a spicy chord. Very bluesy, as a matter of fact. But we can add even more spice to it. That's going to be adding the 9th. And the 9th is on your 2nd fret, 1st string. And I like using my ring finger to press this one. So it's a nice substitution for when you're playing an A chord. So let's say you're playing a blues I don't know, some kind of a blues, and it has the A chord inside of it, just a plain A, you are like, oh, hold on, we played an arrangement with Boris and it had an A7-9 chord. Such a pretty sound. Anyway, next. I think we're good. Oh yeah. You know what? Here's a good thing that can help us a little bit. You can even take that what is it? A7-9 with your pinky on the first string, because you can later on shift to the final chord of that section, which is the A6, which is another very pretty chord. Okay, so this is your, sorry, did I call it A6? Why did I call it A6? That's not correct, guys. I mean, the shape is right, but the name is not right. It's actually it's D6, okay? Because this is D7, right? Do you guys agree that this is D7? The shape is correct. You can follow the shape, no problem. Just the name that I've given to this one is wrong. So this is your D7 chord, and we add the pinky to the second fret, first string. That's how you get the extra spice. Okay, let's try to play that last line together. So bar 7, 8. Let's just play it a couple of times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And to the E7, 3 and 4. And this a half note, 1 and 2. And A6, which is supposed to be D6. Let's do it again. 3 and 4 and B, which is supposed to be B7, and to the E7, 4, to the A7-9, to the D6. Okay, we're good? Thumbs up. Good job. Good job. Julian, all good? All righty. Wendy, all good, all good. Checking on you. All right. So what I want to do right now, let's put it all together. We already got the first part, so that's amazing. Bar 1 till bar 8, and we repeat. So let's just play it a couple of times and see if we can, improve. From the start, guys, from the start. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and to the G and D7, G, 2 and EM7, 4 and 1 and 2 to the D and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and third line B7 to the E7. These are half notes, very long ones. A7, 9, 4 and A6, supposed to be D6. And once again, let's start from the beginning. One more round, 3 and 4 and 1 and little bar chord in EM7, 4 and 1 and 2 to the G, D7 and G, little bar chord and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, bar chord for the D, and 1 little bar chord for the 2, and EM7, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and B2 and E7, 4 and the pretty A7, 9 and A6, D6, 4 and okay. How are we doing? Any questions? Any questions, guys? No? All good? Okay. Good job. let's move on. Let's move on. So, as I said, we're nearly there. We just have one more part, and we're kind of halfway there. Okay, so if we look at bar 9 is very similar to bar 6. It's very similar, just instead of D7, you have D sharp diminished. So let's play this bar together. So mind that the fingers, let me see. The way you could do it is like that. So your AM, this is the way I'm playing the AM, middle finger on the 4th string for the 2nd fret and pinky on your 1st string, 3rd fret. And then I start doing the line, the melody line. So 3, 2, 0, 3. So the 3 is with my pinky. You could possibly do that. And it's good to train your pinky, by the way. And then you land on that D sharp diminished chord. So for that shape, I'm excluding my index finger. So it's a little bit of a strange feeling in your fingers, but it's really good to practice this position. So it's pretty much my D7. It's like D7. It's very similar to the, as I said, it's like the 6th bar, but you need to add your pinky to the 3rd string, 3rd fret on that D sharp diminished chord. Okay, let's run through it together. Bar number 9, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, pinky, 1 and 4, and once again 1 and to the D sharp diminished, 1 and, why am I saying 1? It's supposed to be 3. 1 and 2 and diminished and 4 and last time 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, well, the reason that I'm using my pinky, and I know it's not easy, but on the long run, if you train your pinky, all what I'm trying to do is to move less. The less movement, the less you need to change fingering, the better. So it's good to invest in your weak fingers, guys. Don't abandon them. The more you work on them, the more they will behave and do whatever you want them to do and all that. Anyway, but if you're feeling really, really uncomfortable and you have limited days to finish the song because it's Christmas time, you know what? Find a different way. You can try a different position for your fingers, no problem. These are all suggestions. Let's move on. We are at the next page. Okay, so EM. You guys know this shape? Here is our EM. Okay, 0, 4, 3, 2. And the left hand fingers are ring finger on the 3rd string, 4th fret, middle finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and index finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret. That's the one. And then a very beautiful chord that I bet most of you never played and never even heard about, augmented. Have you guys ever heard about the augmented chord? All right. Yeah, Wendy, you did, huh? Probably in my classes. I got you. Maybe Sammy was also talking about it. However, I don't remember if I saw him playing this chord. Even me, I'm rarely using those shapes, but if you listen to jazz music, as a matter of fact, or if you're playing jazz music, it has a lot of crazy shapes and crazy chord names. So one of the chords there that you can hear in jazz music is the augmented sound. Anyway, it's not a theory. Oops, that was my bottle of water, but it was closed, so nothing spilled. So this is pure Greek water. You know, I almost feel like a Greek god when I drink that. Hold on. It gives me extra power. That's good. Okay. The god of the ukulele. You know, I'm gonna become like a Greek mythologist, the god of the ukulele. Exactly. I hope I'm not gonna be like lost in the labyrinth or something. By the way, the most famous, how do you call it in English? Labyrinth? Am I pronouncing it correctly? So here in Crete, they have the whole story of the Minotaurus and the Kentaurus and all that stuff. It's actually all from this island. So the nearest city, which is called Heraklion, which is in Greek Heracles, it's given from, you know, the big guy with the muscles and all that. Anyway, so I think the big labyrinth, the famous one, is there. I still have to go and visit it. I can't wait to be lost in the labyrinth with my ukulele. I can just play the whole day, you know, how fun, you know. Okay, we are at the EM. We go to the D sharp augmented, the crazy chord. Keep your index finger pressed on the first string, so just keep it there for the sustain. We love sustain. Okay, and then we connect it to the G chord. Now, to make the transition smoother and to make the sound better, if you look at the transition between the D sharp augmented and G, your ring finger is the connecting point. Let's decide that we call this one an anchor finger. That's the finger that helps you change the rest of the fingers. It's kind of a reminder. So this one pretty much stays. And as I said, it also helps the sustain. So this is D sharp augmented, this is G. You see my ring finger doesn't move, it's the connecting point. Okay, and then after the G, we go to the G7. Okay, and this is another anchor finger. By the way, there are tons of anchor fingers. I'm not even all the time reminding you about this, guys, and I'm not always talking about it because otherwise there's just too many things to talk about. But nearly in every transition between one chord to another, there is a finger which we can call an anchor finger, or sometimes even two fingers, depending on the movement. But anyway, so this is our G7 and this is our C major 7. So the connecting finger, the anchor finger, is your ring finger. Simply leave it there. It's better for the sound and easier. Okay, how about us playing this entire line? So bars 10, 11, and 12. I think we'll manage. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, that's the one. Well, the 3, the 3rd fret, the very last note, using my ring finger for this one. And then we go to the next line. So that's a very interesting chord, a very beautiful one, as a matter of fact. That's a G major 7. I love this part. It sounds pretty cool. So from here, probably it's going to be easier to pluck rather than use your thumb. You could use your thumb, it's possible, but it can be a little bit inaccurate, you know? So I suggest just pluck it for now. So we go to that G major 7. So the note before the G major 7 was the 3rd fret. I'm bringing this one a fret back, and I'm adding my middle finger to the 3rd string 2nd fret. That's how I'm getting my G major 7. Now, I'm gonna leave it to that. I'm not gonna change the fingers. So this one's gonna stay for the entire bar. And that 3, bar 13, I'm still talking about the G major 7. See what I'm doing? So I'm adding my pinky to get that melody note on the 2nd string. So the 3 is pressed with the pinky. And the way back is the same. So I'm using the pinky and the ring finger. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You see that? Yeah, everyone? Please stop me if it's not clear, guys. Please do. And sorry if I'm not checking the chat. I'm really terrible at multitasking. You guys probably already know. I'm actually the wrong person to do social media. Like seriously. I shouldn't be doing social media. I cannot handle the amount of messages and like just poof. Anyway, where are we? You see, I already forgot. I was telling you about multitasking. I'm already distracted. Okay, we are here. Connecting it to the C chord. A very beautiful part, I love it. So just the open strings. Let's try to play that C chord section, so bar 14. I guess you can decide what fingers you want to use there. Let me see what I'm doing. You know what I decided to do is to keep it for this on the same fingering, even though it's no longer the G major 7 and you don't need those two, but I'm still using my pinky and ring for the 2 3 3 2 for the C part, right? So for the 14th bar, I don't know, kind of feels all right because my fingers already press those two frets, so I just decide to leave them there. Kind of makes sense to me. Anyway, you can decide to do that, and if not, just use maybe the ring in the middle. It's a bit up to you. I don't have a particular opinion on that. And then we connected back to the G major 7. So bar 13, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so nothing is actually happening in your left hand. You simply play that G major 7, no first string, nothing there. Don't pluck it, don't strum it, nothing. By the way, you see that little sign underneath? Do you know what that means? Anyone? Wendy? Want to tell us?
Louder.
Crescendo. Crescendo. Very good. So, and what crescendo means is play louder, okay? And not, it's like increasing. So you're trying to little by little increase the loudness. So I'll give you an example of how this whole line will sound, because it's a little bit hard to only isolate that bar. So bar, what is it? Bar 15, and to give you a proper idea of what I mean. So let's try to play the entire bar. I'll actually play it for you and then give you a little bit of an idea what this crescendo feels like. So here it comes, from bar 13 till bar 15, including 3 and 4 and Did you feel that? I tried. So it gives more intensity, as it like it asks for resolution, as if like there's tension, and it releases, it moves to the next section. That's the feeling that you want to project. You know, there is a reason behind this. It's the anticipation. Something is about to happen. Like it drops into something new. Guys, if I can summarize what music is tension and release in every aspect of it. In the rhythm, in the melody, in the harmony. It's just harmony, I mean chords. It's just a matter of something gets tense and you release it to something else. And then when the release is happening, you start missing the tension and you go back to the tension. That's the cycle of music. I know it's a little bit philosophic here, but maybe I can talk about it in one of the classes, like without literally like, you know, strumming chords and all that, but just more the idea of what music is, not according to me. This is not a theory. This is how music works. Anyway, let's try and play that line together. Bar 13 to bar 15. Ready? Let's do it. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and once again 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C chord and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, how are we doing? Are we good? Something needs to be repeated, or we are fine? We are fine. Fine. Okay, next. We're nearly there, almost at the repetition. Bar 16th, the next line, we have an EM. I guess the best way to play this one is like that. So, ring finger on the 4th string, 4th fret, pinky underneath it, 3rd string, 4th fret, and middle finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. Okay, and nothing on the 1st string because there's no melody there. The melody is on your 2nd string. Okay, so that's the one. We plug it. As you can see on the 1st string, you have a cross, right at the shape. You have a cross there. That means don't touch this one. So we strum or pluck that chord, we pluck again the third fret, because that's the melody. And then what helps me changing between those two shapes, so I'm talking about the transition between EM, the EM shape, and the A7 flat 9. Again, a very spicy, beautiful chord, love it. But the best way of doing it, here's my EM chord. And there are two, hold on, how many fingers? Oh yeah, here's what's happening. Ring finger is actually just, you slide it down one fret and you're nearly, that's your anchor finger. Again, we're talking about anchor fingers here, so that's your ring finger. That's the one that does the least job, right? So it's like just shift it down, and your middle finger moves along with it. No, hold on. No, I'm saying something wrong. My bad. You just shift the ring finger, and as you can see, my index finger it's not pressing yet, but it's naturally around the right fret. So you just shift this whole thing down and you add the index finger, and the pinky is also nearly there. So all what I'm trying to say is, if your fingers are all over the place, then by default it's going to be harder to get the shape. But if you're keeping them compact and relaxed, you're going to be just right in the corner. So like you're here, you're shifting, and I'm at my next chord with a very little effort. You see, barely a movement. So here's my E, and that's the next one. You can always work on these transitions, just isolate the part. Sorry. Okay, maybe you can repeat it a few times. Where are we? Yeah. Okay, so what I do there at the A7 flat 9, so steel bar 16, the A7 flat 9, this is the way I'm playing it. So ring finger on the 3rd fret 4th string, index finger on the 1st fret 3rd string, and the pinky, I'm using my pinky there for the 3rd fret 2nd string. And then there is a little melody. The melody is happening within the chord, so we don't want to release the chord, we need the sustain. So I'm using my middle finger to get to that 2nd fret. It's a very smooth transition, you see? I'm playing the melody within the chord. 2, 0. Those two fingers, you keep pressing with them. Okay? And then we connect it to the B minor. So the next bar, bar 17, the B minor. There is kind of a weird transition there because it's type of a bar chord. So you start with just an open position because you need the 0. You plug the 2nd string, the 0, and then we had it yesterday, the same thing, guys. If you remember the conversation yesterday about one of those chords, I told you first keep the finger around and then make a kind of a weird bar chord. It looks really strange, but it's just for a very little moment, very short moment. So because you need to press that 2nd fret. Okay, so maybe that's something to practice. And then you open it again because you need the 0 and connect it to the D7. Okay. So for the D7 part, this is your D7. I'm adding my pinky to the 3rd fret. I'm at bar 18, D7. I'm adding my pinky to the 3rd fret and then plucking the zeros. And when I go to the 5th fret, you can actually leave the position. You don't have to like break your fingers to get to that 5th fret. Just let it go, plug that 5th fret and connect to the next section. Can we please play the entire line? So bar 16th, 17th, 18th together. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 5th fret, and we're at the D7. Any questions, guys, still here? Or we move on? We move on? All good? Not going too fast? All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. The final part. All right, so we have a D7. We had that shape before. We actually played the B7, if you remember from before. It's exactly the same shape, but we need to shift the whole thing to the 5th fret. So a full bar chord on the 5th fret, and add your middle finger to the 3rd string, fret number 6. Okay, the next chord is the same shape, but with an extra finger. So the name is wrong. I'm sorry, guys. It's not an A7 flat 13, but it's supposed to be called D7 flat 13. Again, the way the shape is correct, just the name is not right. So anyway, that D, the A, let's call it for now A7, doesn't matter, A7 flat 13. You need to add your ring finger. It's a bit of a very jammed, very, again, claustrophobic position, but we need to find a way of playing it. And the smaller the ukulele, the harder it is to fit all the fingers there. So mine, as I said, it's a very small one. I bet it's a lot easier on the baritone or tenor would do. Anyway, here it's a little bit, it's very tough. Anyway, so what I'm doing is adding the ring finger. You know, I'm trying to shift everything a little bit to the left to give a little bit room to that ring finger to squeeze it in to the 2nd string, 6th fret. Okay, so that's the D7, and then I add that ring finger in between. Okay, and then we go to the G chord. This one we already know. Okay, and this part we played before, so that's cool. So from bar 20, we know what to do. So we can skip. So bar 20 is fine. Bar 21 is fine. Bar 22 is fine. We already did that. Let me see what's new. Oh, I think we're good. Just the final chord, guys. The final chord is a very pretty chord, G added 9. So let me see. One second. So here's the chord. Let's start from the 4th string. 4th string open, so a 0. The middle ring finger goes on the, what is it, fret number 9? Is it fret number 9? Yeah, fret number 9 with the ring finger on the 3rd string. Fret number 7 with your index finger on the 2nd string. Sorry, I'm plucking the wrong one. 7. And the pinky goes on fret number 10 on the 1st string, okay? So that's a very nice sparkly chord. No harmonics there. Okay. So maybe something we can do before we put it all together. Maybe let's connect the A6 chord to that G added 9. I mean, you know, we're skipping a lot of steps here, even though I don't know whether you think I'm going fast or slow, but I'm skipping a lot of things because ideally, if you're struggling, and I don't know if there's a specific bar that needs more time, but we should check every transition because there are some of them that we actually skipped. But this is your homework. You could do it later on. Maybe let's just check the last transition, the A6. A6 to the G added 9. 0. So what I'm doing, I'm simply playing the very, very final part, strumming or plucking, whatever. Plucking the A6, opening for the melody, opening for the 0 on the 1st string, and then quickly going to the next chord, to the final chord, the G added 9. Okay, let's do it in rhythm. 3, 4, A6, 0, and final chord. Once again, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And last time, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And ready to put it all together? Are we ready? Everyone, we're good? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. From the top. But before we start, the form. I know that probably you already know it because I've been talking about forms for quite some time and you know how the repetitions work, but not everyone is here during the live stream, so I still would like to explain that very briefly. So the form goes like this. We start on the first bar. From the first bar, we play until bar 8, including. After that, after the 8th bar, we go, it brings us back. There is a repetition sign. It brings us back to the first bar. You keep on playing from the first bar until bar 5, including. From bar 5, you need to jump over the first repetition and arrive straight on the second repetition, which is bar 9. So on your second repetition, when you start playing again from the beginning, from bar 5, including, you jump to bar 9. And after bar 9, it goes very, very easily. So you just keep on playing, and you finish the song. Okay, guys? So 2 options for you on how to play this one, either with a strum, with a simple kind of down strum with your thumb, or 4 fingers, 4 strings. Let's do it. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and 1. E, M7 and D7, 0 to the B final line, 2 and long chords, half chords, and 2 and from the top, guys, from the top, 4 and 1 and 2 and E7, E minor 7, 4 and 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 to the E M7 and 4 and prepare to go to the second repetition and to the D chord and G, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Second repetition, 1 and 2 and 1. Long notes, 2 and then augmented and 4 and G, anchor fingers to the G7, 4 and 1. Oh, sorry, I think I messed up the rhythm. Can we take it from the C major 7? I'm playing it pretty slowly, but that's why I think I messed it up. Here we go. 3 from the C major 7, bar 12, guys. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and louder and EM and 2 and 3 and 4 and BM, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 5th fret and bar chord 1 and 2 and A7 flat 13 and 4 and 1 and 2 repetition. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and B and E7 4 and A7 9 and the final one to the 0 to the G added 9. Okay, at the very end, what we can do, just look at this one. The final line goes like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's funny because it's the same note. It's the same note as the one you have in the chord, but just a few octaves up. So it sounds really pretty. So what I'm doing, take your index finger, put the thumb on the neck right here. It's kind of helping you with positioning everything. And just pluck after the bridge. So you need to be, you shouldn't pluck here, but you should pluck right where, see right at this area where your string enters the tuner, your first string, and you just pluck it. Hear it? You can also, so that two things that are happening. The thumb and the rest of the fingers are kind of helping positioning and securing this whole thing. So it's this, you see, thumb and these two are grabbing the neck, and that helps you to get a bit more force when you're plucking. So this is something you can add at the very, like a little falling star, little sparkle, you know? So that could work. So guys, that was it. That was the song. Time for questions, or not time for questions. What do you say? No questions. We're good. I wanna see some rating. How was this song for you? I know, you know, this type of song takes a few classes, maybe 1 or 2, and then you need to practice it a little bit, you know, on your own. But how was it for you? Like, how, if we have like 5 levels, if you need to give a grade to the difficulty, is it like, well, 1 is like the easiest and 5 is like very, very hard for you? Give me a rating. 3 for Shelly, 5 for Tammy, Genevieve 2, easy but not, okay. Juliana, so 4 or 5? Sorry, 4. I don't see your thumb. You're doing this. Is it 4 or is it 5? Okay. 10. Well, I mean, then it seems like generally it's challenging in a good way. That's how it feels to me. And practice, guys. Just practice a little bit every day. There's a lot of muscle memory involved, a lot of new shapes. And as I said, I know it's a slow song, but I was going still way too fast because I wanted to pass through the whole thing. Ideally, every day you take one line. These are things that I'm talking about pretty often, but I think in the last few lessons I wasn't talking about the way to practice. So the way to practice such a song is don't go crazy. What we did right now, it's a lot of work in 1 hour. It's a crazy amount of work. So first of all, you deserve a big applause for the work you guys are doing, but actually just take a line per day, just one line per day, and study that. Don't rush, but you know, take your time. Don't try to play the whole song. What we did today, just I wanted to make sure that we passed through everything. All right, guys? You're so quiet today. All righty. Tomorrow we have another class. I think that's the final class of this marathon. And let's see how many people are going to show up. Come on, guys, you can do it. You can do it. I'm the one talking, you know, you can go and have a coffee or whatever, even turn off your camera and I don't know. You know, I'm the one doing the work. So anyway, it's lovely to see you here today, tonight, and all that. So I see you guys tomorrow. Ciao, ciao. Namaste. All right.